The X-Man, maybe not the hero Cleveland wanted, but the hero it needed. We'll talk about Xzavion Curry's great performance to kick off the series against the Red Sox. The Guardians offense riding the hot hand, like we talked about on Monday's show. We'll get into our first Guardians minor league roundup of the year. We'll get into some draft talk at the end of the show. It's time for Locked On Guardians.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's show. It's brought to you by Monopoly Go. I admit it, I have a competitive side, and it's a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist on a classic Monopoly. Join your friends and download Monopoly Go for free on Google App Store, on the App Store, or Google Play. We have a lot of fun things to discuss. It was a weird time for a game, but it ended up being quite a fun game. We were texting when I could get away, during my lunch and such today. But I should always do the hey, thank you for joining us today and every day, wherever you get podcasts. We appreciate being your first listen. Shout out to K Shabashihi, Dag39C, and C Fahey. Thank you for leaving those iTunes reviews. We appreciate all of you. It's a big thank you. I am Jeff. Over there is Justin. If you are just joining us, because this team is fun, I am the Cat Boy. And before I started hosting this podcast almost 1,200 episodes ago, I was a lead draft and prospect analyst for 24/7 and Scout.
I am Justin. I don't have any pets yet. Maybe this summer we'll get a dog introduced on this show. I think we need a back and forth with the cat and the dog here. But before this, I was the managing editor of Guardians/Indians Baseball Insider from 2018 to 2023. I've also covered the Guardians/Indians farm system and the Major League team for the News Herald and the Morning Journal, going back about 10 years now on a freelance basis. Right now, the X-Man, great first game for Xzavion Curry against the Red Sox for the Guardians. Really needed that start. Really important. Real quick, too, I don't know, there was a comment yesterday. Someone wanted to know how Xzavion Curry wound up in my wedding photos. So we went down to Progressive Field to do some of our wedding shots along with a couple of the parks down there. And it happened to be timed just right that the Guardians were getting into the stadium for their game on Saturday that they played the night before. And Curry actually got the win the night before our wedding on June 9th. And he just happened to be walking in. We were taking photos and he was on the phone with his mom. We didn't know it. And a couple of us started shouting to him, and we were like, oh, you take a picture with us. And he quickly hung up his phone, being the nice guy that he is. And he agreed to jump in some of our pictures. So maybe I'll share those pictures one of these days. But Xzavion Curry is in a couple of my wedding photos. Great dude. Proud of him. And a start the Guardians definitely needed. Only went 5 innings.
Stellar, but only like 74 pitches.
Yeah, he threw 73 pitches, 48 for strikes. That's 65%. But he was efficient. I mean, Carl Willis, they were saying in the broadcast how much Carl Willis really likes him because he attacks the zone and he is not afraid. I know he doesn't have big stuff. Like, he's a guy who throws 92, 93 at the most. Yeah, he averaged 92.5 at the fastball today, and he did pretty good there. He had 8 called strikes, only 3 whiffs on it, but kept it in a good spot and didn't get hurt. And the slider, they were talking on the broadcast, Andre was saying that during spring training, until he got sick and had to be away from the team, Curry had worked on a couple of tweaks to his slider and said it's just the best feel he's ever had for his slider. And it showed in the game against Boston. He had 5 swings and misses against it on 17 swings that the Red Sox took, which was a 29% whiff rate, which is good for him. So the slider, I always thought the curveball in the minors was Curry's best pitch. It was a very big, power 12-6. He didn't really use it a lot. It was a lot of sliders today. And interesting that he did that against left-handers. He did a really good job against the Red Sox left-handers with that. He really relied on 2 pitches all game. He only threw 6 curveballs and 4 changeups. So the slider is a really good pitch for him. And I don't know. I think at this point he had to have earned another start, right? I mean,
he only went
5 innings. He was on a pitch count, but I think he could have gone out. The 6th inning for him would have been the 3rd time to the order. So probably a wise move. And also that he, again, is coming off of 2 rehab starts that he's pitching for the first time since mid-March. So it made sense, but I think he's got to stay in the rotation right now.
No, yeah,
I
the
will.
curveball for him dating back to college was the pitch. So the sliders step up. I was trying to find today information on what his sliders rotation was a year ago to see if it was tracking upwards or down compared to a year ago. Unfortunately, I couldn't track that down quickly enough, but he looked great. And like if we just look at his appearances this year, he was filthy in AAA as well. Now that's AAA, yes, but like that is also a good sign coming back from that viral infection. Limited pitch count, but he has been effective at every level he's pitched. With the way things are going with this rotation, I don't think there's any debate. He's here probably to stay for the rest of the year, barring injury or another reason. Like Ben Lively is your depth guy. He's in the rotation because things are grim. But I think Curry he's number 6 in the pecking order. So when Bieber went down, he's up. We'll have Lively for as long as it's interesting. He is slotted in. We'll see if someone else is going to move out or if he's just going to be in there until, what they're doing with either Williams, Carrasco, Lively, and McKenzie once that gets figured out. But unless they decide to go to Cantillo when he is fully healthy, by that time, to know if, wow, surprised you with that take.
I was stunned. I was very stunned.
But if he keeps pitching like this, then he'll be there to stay. But I don't know. Am I wrong? Is there any chance that they decide to stick with Lively over him?
Well, as we know, as we say on the show, Ben Lively does not have any options, so he is going to be here. It just depends on whether or not he is in the bullpen or if it's in the rotation. Right now, he's pitching on Wednesday. We'll have to get into whether or not that means or what move that means for the Guardians. We touched on that a little bit Monday. We can again today. Yeah, I mean, we were saying to start the season, Curry had to go to AAA to be a starter just to be depth. And guess what? He's already needed. He didn't have time to go to AAA to do a whole lot except for rehab. So he's up here for the time being. I'll be curious to see because right now it's like I said, he was very 2-pitch heavy on Monday. And his fastball velocity and his slider velocity don't have a lot of separation, so it's kind of easy to tell the two coming out of the hand if anything hard is going to be a fastball. So I wish he kind of had a cutter, but we'll see if he throws the curveball more against right-handers. So it was a 2-pitch. He was a 2-pitch guy against the Red Sox lineup, who they're kind of an average lineup right now. They're not great. They're okay.
They're just like Cleveland. It's like top 4.
Cleveland's got a better offense right now than the Red Sox, believe it or not. I know everyone's kind of sold on all the sexy home runs that Tyler O'Neill's hitting, but surprise, surprise, he's hurt again, even though it wasn't his fault today, but he got hurt again today. And then speaking of hitters, hey, the Guardians rode the hot hand on Monday. Gabriel Arias in the lineup, he went 3 for 4. He's got 4 extra base hits in the last 3 games, and 3 of his hits today could have been home runs in other ballparks. The triple he hit, which was 103 off the bat, that's a home run in 3 of 30 parks, so not a lot, but other parks besides Fenway. The double he hit would have been a home run in 12 parks. So 2 of those balls he hit today could have been home runs in other parks. And then he had a single that was 90 miles an hour off the bat. And after the game, Stephen Vogt talked about how he had been working on something with his hands and just trying to get more separation and balance and timing in his swing. So if he's made some adjustments, and I know we've talked about his strikeout concerns before, really this year so far, again, it's a very limited sample, but strikeouts haven't been a big deal for him this year. He struck out once today, but so far this year, it's a pretty low strikeout rate. And again, we know what he did against right-handers a year ago. Against right-handers, he was an above-average hitter. It was just the lefties. So I don't see why Gabriel Arias should not get more time. Year.
Like his first home run of the year was against lefty. And it's always crazy to me. Like one of our commenters, and he's an everydayer, Crack 3148, like, he's a good dude, but, he talked about why do we expect different results? He hadn't, against right-handers a year ago, he had a weighted runs created plus over, like, I think it was 120, and it's just against lefties, it was almost negative. So it's like negative. He was a good hitter a year ago, just in a very small set. He couldn't hit lefties. Sometimes guys figure it out. Sometimes it's just a year-to-year thing. We talked about at the start of last year, Kwan had reverse splits, and then they balanced out. Josh Naylor struggled with lefties until a year ago. Arias being a righty, he shouldn't struggle against lefties. So if he
his approach either.
No, and if he gets close to like just a league average against lefties, heck, give me a 90. Like if he's a 90, he's gonna, like, you look at what he does what he did against righties a year ago. He's the third, fourth best hitter on this team. Like statistically, based on the weighted runs carried plus, he also has power potential. You're talking about 20 home run guy with above league average production. So that's why you give him that opportunity. And yeah, is he streaky? Undoubtedly. Yeah, but you ride it while it's hot. And right now he is hot.
Drop it while it's hot. Drop him in the lineup while it's hot, as Mims.
Don't drop him. Keep him where he is. He was I'm sorry.
Drop him in the not in the lineup, but yeah, drop him in the lineup. Place him in the lineup while he's hot. You're ruining the joke, Jeff. Jeez.
Sorry.
All right. Well, Jeff ruined that joke. We got to talk about Will Brennan's home run. He made some adjustments. We'll get into that. Jeff, the Guardians are 10-2, and they do this one thing. We will talk about that in just a second, and we'll have our poll of the day. So stick with us on Locked On Guardians. Speaking of making all the pieces fit, you want to be competitive. You want to move yourself up in the lineup. You want to move yourself up on the Monopoly Go leaderboards. We all have a competitive side. My competitive side is a big fan of Monopoly Go. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's been downloaded over 150 million times. It's a great twist on Monopoly where you can play not one, but hundreds of Monopoly boards in some of the craziest locations, building up amazing cities that bring you big money. The best part is messing with your friends. I can charge them rent on my iconic properties, just like regular Monopoly. You can also rob them of their riches in their vaults. The leaderboards show me who the biggest Monopoly tycoon is, but it's not just my competitive side that loves it. You can team up with all of your friends and people around the world in time tournaments to earn huge rewards. So go in the game and join your friends. Download Monopoly Go free on the App Store or on Google Play. There you go. Jeff's got it. He's ready to play. He's competitive. He's going to do it. Speaking of being competitive, I know you want to go to some games. The Cavs, they're in the playoffs starting on Saturday. Saturday is going to be a fun day down in Cleveland. The Guardians are at home against the Athletics. The Cavs are at home against the Magic. It's playoff time in the NBA. This is a great time for you to use the Game Time app. If you have not been a customer yet through Game Time, this is really a good time for you to do it. The NBA playoffs are here. Summer concerts in Cleveland are heating up as well. So browse the Game Time app and just pick out whatever event you're looking for. They are now the authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball. So you can get tickets even easier and faster on Game Time. And prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. So if you want to be downtown and be part of Saturday's fun, go to the Cavs game, go to the Guardians game. I think they're going to be two different times. Game Time is the way you want to get down there. They have all-in pricing, so you're not putting tickets in your basket and wondering why all of a sudden you're paying 40 more tickets at checkout. That doesn't happen with Game Time. And they have the Game Time guarantee, which will credit you 110% of the difference if you find the same ticket, the same row and section for less. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB. It's all one word for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. And Guardians back in action today, Tuesday through Thursday, in Boston for a 4-game set. You can check out all that action on your SiriusXM app. Just search Guardians on the app. All right, Jeff, what is the one thing that the Guardians are 10-2 when they do? What do you think it is?
When they play Monopoly Go before the game?
I mean, I can see why. It gets their competitive juices flowing. So that would get them. They probably have to do it Monday morning to get going for an 11 a.m. game. I'm sure Xzavion Curry was out there buying a Park Place property and getting into Will Brennan's vaults. That's why,
go for the railroads.
Yeah, that's right. The railroads, the hotels.
I don't know when they
are 10-2 and when they score 4 or more runs, which they've done. So 12 of the 16 games this year, they've scored 4 or more runs. We had a comment the other day about the offense being better. I think it was Everyday or Dave Wendell. I think he said that the Guardians offense has just looked improved. So they've scored 4 more runs in 12 of their 16 games this year, and they are 10-2 when they do that. So not even just 3. I think he was saying 3, but no, they lost the 2 to New York. They scored 2 runs in each of those games. They've lost a game where they've scored 3 runs. They have lost, obviously, 2. They've scored 4. But 4 runs in 12 of 16 games, that's a pretty good percentage to start the year. And I know the offense has been streaky at times, and you've got guys that are kind of struggling throughout the lineup besides, Josh Naylor, besides David
Stephen
Fry,
Kwan.
besides Stephen Kwan. Jimenez is still doing pretty good, but yeah, they've been consistent. Will Brennan, huge 2-run homer on Monday in the win.
Good for him with all of his
Yes.
struggles. Like, he needed something like that.
He did. It was a good at bat too. I was voted after the game. It was, regardless of the result, he just went up there and put a great at bat. And the thing he said that Brennan really did well in that at bat was he was searching fastball and adjusting to the breaking ball. And he said a lot of trouble that he's been getting into to start the season is he is caught in between on what he's looking for in a certain count. So almost kind of guessing, which is never what you want to do. So he said in that at bat, he was doing a better job of hunting the fastball and adjusting to the breaking ball. And he ended up hitting the breaking ball for a home run. I know I've said this a million times and I go back and forth, and I still think you need to see more Gabriel Arias, and why not see more Florial at this point? But I still believe in Will Brennan. The chase rate is definitely alarming. He needs to get over his Oscar Gonzalez syndrome at some point, but the strikeout rate is still good. He doesn't strike out a lot. He's walking at an okay clip. It's not great. It's around 7%. Like, that's pretty much probably who he's going to be. But if he can just worry about hitting the pitches he knows he can hit and not trying to hit everything and chase everything like Oscar Gonzalez, I still think there's a really good hitter in there. I still do believe in him.
Yeah, it's just at this point in time for me, we have these moments like last year when he unfortunately killed that bird and then went on that run. Like, he has those points where we think, oh, he's turning the corner, and then it kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
And it was great. That was a fantastic hit. That was, that was what broke the 0-0 score. It was a huge hit. It's probably arguably his biggest hit of the year. And those 2 walks he had against the Yankees was it the Yankees, the White Sox were also like nails moments for him. Like, he's had some good moments, but the consistency has just not been there, and he's not been the guy he was in the minors. And I with them needing to see what other guys can do, I still kind of feel like at this point in time, he might be the guy who's best served to like get some more reps in AAA. Just we talk about often on the show, progression is not a straight line. Jose was up and he went down. Very few guys stay up. Josh Naylor took about 4 years to finally stick. Like, I mean, Josh Naylor took like San Diego. He was no more than the 3rd or 4th piece in the Clevenger deal. He was probably about the 4th piece in that deal. Honestly, like, he was a guy that the Padres were giving up on. So development isn't a straight line. It's not a negative if he gets sent down, so he can get more consistent reps, and then he could maybe be the guy you and I both think he can be. But I think right now his biggest problem is there aren't going to be those consistent reps. So I still am a fan of Brennan maybe spending some time down in AAA and getting consistent reps to get back to the guy he's been.
Maybe the problem with Brennan is he's older, and with Jose, they didn't have a whole lot of options to turn to. And not that the Guardians have like super quality options to turn to. Like, you could play Arias and right, which, by the way, I also want to go back and point this out about Arias. Not only does he have an extra base hit in the last four times in the last 3 games, he's also played third base, first base, shortstop, and right field in those games. Like,
I think
he's playing all over the place in doing this.
I listened to Boston broadcast, and I think they said he played 3 different positions in that game against the Yankees. And that's the first time that ever happened in the history of the Yankees that someone had played those 3 positions in one game. Yeah.
And then to do what he did offensively is just great. And then he came back today and played third on Monday. So that was cool. With Brennan though, I mean, not that the options are super quality, but you do have other guys you could play. So if you send him back to AAA, there's a chance that's it for him, and somebody else grabs the spot, and he's got guys that are, that want opportunities. And I don't know if they'll catch up to him or not, but he is a little bit older as far as a player is concerned. So you send him back to AAA. No guarantees he returns, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to learn anything from playing in AAA. Like,
I just think it's the reps. I just think it's the reps and getting back to who he was 2 years ago, because we're still seeing the guy who's expanding
something specific.
But that's what I want him to work on, not expanding, not chasing. I know someone in our comments was like, well, he walked twice and you say he's swinging at everything. It's not necessarily that he is never selective, but his selectiveness is not good right now. And again, people are going to be upset because he had a good game, and we need to focus on that. And this isn't to be negative about him. I just think if you're going to find spots for Arias, and you're going to find spots for Florial, it has to be in the outfield. I think it is shown that even when Arias comes in the game and he's the better defensive shortstop, they're not. When Rocchio came in as a pinch hitter, they had him play short. He is the shortstop. Gabby is not going to get a chance at short. So if they are going to let these other two guys play, either Brennan, Florio, or Gabby aren't going to play. And I would rather him get reps than not reps.
All I know is Gabby should be in the lineup the rest of this week somewhere. It doesn't matter where it is. Shortstop, right field, whatever you got to do. Get him in the order somewhere. The rest of this week, real quickly, too, we got to run and get to some other stuff. But I wanted to point out this about the bullpen because Tim Herron also deserves his due for Monday. He was great in 2 innings, had 3 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Walked a batter. Sandlin, a scoreless inning. Eli Morgan. Yeah. Tim Herron's been awesome so far. The whole bullpen has been great, aside from some hiccups from Morgan, although his ERA is down to 2.84 and Barlow's been shaky. But I just have to say, I love the story of the bullpen so far. You know, we talked about Hunter Gaddis. He's a 5th-round pick, but he is one of 2 major league players to come out of Georgia State University so far. Cade Smith, his story as a 2020 undrafted free agent out of Hawaii, and he's from Canada. Tim Herron's from the 29th round and went to Indiana, which is not necessarily a big pitching school.
The only guy ever to make it from that round and play for the Guardians. In the history of that round, Jonathan Van Avery and Jack Simple are the only other guys in that round who made it to the big leagues. The only one to ever play for Cleveland is Tim Herron.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of cool stories in this bullpen. Those guys to just have very, unique backgrounds, unique stories of how they've gotten here so far. So Herron and Cade Smith, and if you want to throw in Hunter, we talked about Hunter Gaddis. Daniel Clase was not really a big name signing for the Padres. He got $125,000 back in 2015. And then I'll even throw out Tyler Beatty. I mean, Tyler Beatty was a 1st-round pick, but he never really made his mark in the majors.
Multiple
he had to go
times.
Overseas. Yeah, he had to go overseas and kind of reinvent himself as a pitcher. So
and
there's a lot of fun stories in this bullpen.
And even someone like Gaddis, small school guy who actually did not have a good junior year. We're going to talk about college, but Gaddis made his bones for that draft class based off the Cape and almost entirely off the Cape. They ignored almost his entire junior year and just looked at the Cape, which is an interesting thing to discuss before we head into the break. And you'll find out post-break why that is something I want to point out.
Yep. Stick around for more good draft talk today.
Are you struggling to close deals? B2B selling is tougher than ever. That's why I want to tell you about LinkedIn Sales Navigator. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a sales intelligence platform that helps professionals effectively prospect and engage. And we love prospects. High-value customers drive higher revenue and increase sales performance. Sales Navigator helps you target the right buyers, surface key signals such as job changes or which accounts you should prioritize, and shows you hidden allies so you can find the buyers that are most likely to convert. Fueled by LinkedIn's 1 billion member platform, Sales Navigator gives you the most up-to-date first-party data, enabling you to unlock conversations with the people that matter. Right now, you can try Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial. That's 60 days at linkedin.com/lockedon. One word, all caps. That is linkedin.com/lockedon for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/lockedon and get started.
You are all high value people in my book if you listen to this show and if you listen to the Guardians on your Sirius XM app the rest of the week against the Boston series. Just search Guardians on your app to hear Tom Hamilton and Jim Rosenhaus call the rest of the series. We didn't get to our poll real quick. I was going to ask Jeff. I hope that Tanner Bybee can follow up on Curry's great start and attack the strike zone and keep the walks to a minimum, because the Red Sox are a team that does strike out a lot. They don't walk a ton. Will Bybee be the first starter since Logan Allen to complete 6 innings against the Red Sox in Game 2?
Yeah, if Curry wasn't on a pitch count, there's no doubt he could have gotten 6 or 7 potentially. I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned because, at first we were told it was like, well, he was having a hard time gripping the ball. But I will say it was super windy on that next start in Cleveland. We believe he's going to be an ace.
Was not the greatest against the White Sox. He did not throw a lot of changeups, which he's going to need against the Red Sox.
Yeah, and the command has not been quite as strong as it was a year ago. So he's still kind of, I feel like, getting back to where he was. But let's be positive. Let's say yes. Like, he is this team's ace right now. They need him to step up, continue this push, and I'm going to say yes.
He is the ace the Guardians need and want right now at this point. So yeah, I'll say yes. He'll he'll get 6 innings. I think he'll get it on track. Tristan McKenzie, just real quick before we get into some minor league stuff and some college stuff. Tristan McKenzie, no scheduled start for him at the moment. There's the Thursday's TBD. He would normally start Wednesday. That's lively spot. Carrasco's going Thursday, and then Friday would be his next day in pitch. Right now, Cleveland hasn't listed his TBA, so we'll see what happens. Whether he is the guy that ends up getting sent down for lively,
not a
or
good sign.
Hopefully, it's not an injury, but that's just kind of how we know it's gone in the past for him. All right, I'm going to speed through some minor league notes real quick, and then we're getting to some draft stuff. So, Doug Nikhazy was the Eastern League Player of the Week this past week. He struck out 9 in 5 innings for Akron, walked 2 in those 5 innings. He's got 4 walks in 10 innings so far in his 2 starts, which isn't good, but it's not as bad as it has been. He's got a new arm slot. He's dropped his arm slot a little bit lower. It's a little bit wider. He's more slider heavy now, so we'll see if that improves his command or not. Interestingly, not listed in the rotation in Akron this week, so I hope he's healthy or he's going to Columbus. We'll see. Ralphie Velasquez was the hitter of the week in the Carolina League. He had 2 doubles and 2 homers, off to a great start. He is pretty much just going to be a first baseman only.
Yeah.
So the bat is going to be important.
He's hitting the ball, but he looks like he's gotten a little bigger.
Yeah.
So I think that's why
he looks okay. The bat's working. Matt Wilkinson and Parker Messick are both dominating at their levels. They need to move up real quick.
Yes. There's no point in them being where they are. 0 point.
Very weird. The tugboat is just on fire so far. Looks like Ross Carver and Jack Leftwich are relievers in Akron at this point. It's very strange so far. So we'll see what happens there, given the Guardians' pitching depth.
Carver should move quickly. Like, if he's going to be a reliever, then he could be another relief choice for this year.
Yeah, Churion Janau and Angel Hanau both off to good starts in Lynchburg, so that's fun to see for 2 hitting prospects the Guardians really want to see move up quickly. All right, some draft stuff. Jeff got a good note the other day from Taylor Blake Ward, his buddy, about where Charlie Condon's home runs are coming from. And it kind of made us wonder, like, okay, where are all these home runs coming from? Are these guys? There's a real lack of pitching in this class, obviously. So
it's awful. We thought last year was bad. This year is worse.
Yeah, so it made us take a deeper look. And this might. I'm not saying this will be a separator, but at least it's worth getting granular on. Is where these home runs are coming from. So very quickly, if you want to run through where Condon's home runs have come, Jeff.
Yeah. So Condon is the name for obvious reasons because he's been really, really good. But this is through last week when I got the data so it doesn't count this past weekend. He only has two of his 21 home runs on Friday, which is when you face the best pitching. He's still phenomenal, 9 of 23, a 15% K rate. Saturday, he actually has most of his home runs and the lower K rate. And then Sunday and any other day of the week is when 11 of the home runs come. You can see it's also a much bigger sample. But he is not, and I know people will be like, well, he really teed off against Missouri's really bad. Like it's not like he faced. So for as much as, and that's, I think I was looking through it. Like, the unfortunate thing is I don't believe they face Arkansas this year. So we're going to have to look forward to, I think maybe we get Texas A&M. So Ryan Prager is going to be an interesting case for him. Maybe LSU with Holman. So there'll be some opportunities. But it's an awful pitching group. Like, when we had Waldrop a year ago as a guy who slid into the 20s, there's no one like that. It's once you get past Smith, Yusevich, and Burns, it kind of falls off a cliff. I mean, Brecht, maybe you look at it. Brecht is this year's Waldrop. Like, good stuff. Maybe you can fix him.
Yeah. Nick Kurtz, another one we looked up. He's got a bunch of home runs he hit 5 against Virginia Tech, 3 against Boston College, and he's got 3 against Coastal Carolina. He's got 4 on Tuesday of his 16. Sunday, he's got half his home runs, 8 of 16. Friday night, only 2, and Saturday night, only 2. So you want the most home runs Friday, but obviously teams are pitching around both Condon but you would think that you're facing the best starter on Friday. Those guys should feel confident facing those hitters. So they're probably not pitching around them at that point. But yeah, so Kurtz is doing a lot of damage on Sunday and doing
it
a
is
lot
also
of
interesting too
Tuesday.
How much more, for what it is worth and what you want to read into it, teams are pitching around Kurtz and Bazzana much more than Condon.
That is true. That has been true. I mean, we thought Kurtz would get more protection from Seaver King. Bazzana from who's the freshman from Oregon State? That's escaping my mind right now. He's a really good hitter for them.
There was like their shortstop was also supposed to be a draft eligible
player.
And Trent Caraway, the shortstop.
That's who it was, Trent Caraway. So you want these guys to, obviously, when they're facing a Sunday starter, obviously you want them to hit the crap out of the ball, because otherwise, if they're not, that's a concern. But you'd also like to see some of their best stats go on Friday. Real quickly, Travis Bazzana, if you look at him, his most home runs actually do come on a Friday. He's got 5 of his 18 on a Friday. He's got 5 on Saturday as well, 4 on Sunday, 3 on Tuesday. The competition in the Pac-12 and just the West Coast in general is garbage, though. And that's why it's so great that he has the Cape performance, because out of these 3 hitters, he has faced the best pitching out of all 3 without a doubt, because he played on the Cape and he succeeded on the Cape. Yeah. You're going to face better pitching any day on the Cape than you are in the college period.
If Kurtz was fully healthy, one can make the case the ACC pitching this year is better than the SEC pitching. But part of the problem, though, is that the best ACC pitching he's not going to face because it's on his own team. So
right.
It is. There's kind of a good and bad with that.
Duke was his best shot. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think he was hurt.
And Florida State, right? Florida State's ACC. So
I don't know if they faced Florida State yet. If they have, so
I don't think they have. So that would be a good test, because both those young arms for next year are fun to watch. But yeah, it's interesting to see where those home runs are coming from.
Yeah, it's fun to get granular like that, and just like that could end up being a separator at some point too, is who you're facing. But also, not to dive in too much, because the pitching is bad this year. Pitching that's not bad. Ryan Prager, that's one of Jeff's guys. He struck out 10, didn't walk a batter against Vanderbilt. I know Vanderbilt's not as good as they have been. Yeah, Vanderbilt doesn't have a ton of pro prospects that they have in the past, but they're ranked very highly in college. That says something. I still like Prager. I think he's a guy Cleveland should definitely target. He's pitchability. Love the arm angle. I love the arsenal.
What's crazy about Prager is, 1, I believe he has the best strikeout to walk ratio in college baseball. 2, again, he's lucky he doesn't have to face his lineup, but he is pitching in the SEC. He is facing some good lineups. And 3,
it's coming off Tommy John.
His first year back from Tommy John, and like
great.
Normally your command doesn't come back in year 1, so right. His command might actually get better. So there's a lot of positives. I think he's a second or third round arm, but he is definitely someone to keep your eye on.
Yep, Luke Holman, he took a no hitter in the 6th inning against Tennessee, who I think has one of the better lineups in college baseball.
I think
only struck out 4, walked 3. Yeah, they're great. I still love Dylan Drayling, Blake Burke, and Kavaris Tears, but. He took a no hitter in the 6th inning against Tennessee. Yeah, Billy Amick is really good. 2 earned runs. Holman probably a 2nd or 3rd round arm, probably more a 2nd round arm, maybe a comp round arm at this point.
Round.
Yeah, and we'll just note that Bryce Cunningham is one of the better pitchers for Vanderbilt, even though we should be terrified of all Vanderbilt pitchers at this point. But Braden Montgomery
did have a good cape, so keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah. Braden Montgomery had 2 home runs off him on Friday, and they were not cheap shots.
Yeah, it's it's always fun to check this out. Listen, I think one of the big takeaways we want to point out before anyone gets mad is that they're fun players. We're not going to be upset if they take any of the bats. I think the bats are definitely what we feel like are the way to go in this year's class. Just like you following us is definitely the way to go for all of your Guardians coverage. We got the rest of this Boston series to cover and a lot of other fantastic topics. I know at some point we're going to get a little more granular on the minor leagues as well, see how DeLauder and Manzardo and some other top prospects are performing. But thank you all for joining us as your Cleveland Guardians try to extend this win streak. Remember to rate and review, download daily. It helps. Make sure that you are hitting the alert bell. Thank you for joining us, and go Guardians, go.